Muslim outrage over a low-budget movie is now hitting close to home, with more on the growing anger over a film many claim is offensive and why it has some people in Toronto afraid. Let's turn it over to Sean O'Shea with more on that. Sean.
Well, good evening, Carolyn. An Egyptian-born Canadian is one of two men here who fears for his life because of the outrage over that American-made movie, The Innocence of Muslims. Once again today, protests took place worldwide over the film, including one this afternoon in downtown Toronto.
And we will not accept the American efforts to defame Islam.
2,000 turned out across the street from the U.S. consulate on University Avenue to let their voices be heard. Anger over the film, the portrayal of Muslims, has been building. This protest was peaceful, but that's not been the case everywhere. This was the scene in Bangladesh earlier today, where police fired tear gas and used batons to disperse stone-throwing protesters. They represented a dozen different Islamic groups. It's this kind of anger that has this man living in fear. Nadir Fauzi is an Egyptian-born Canadian who is now the subject of an Egyptian arrest warrant. He says that amounts to a fatwa, or religious edict. He says he's got nothing to do with the movie and is being targeted by the Egyptian government because he's a Coptic Christian activist. Fauzi went to Toronto Police 42 Division with his MP, Jim Karagiannis. He's asking for protection.
This is what I need simply. I need a protection for me and for my daughters. When this fatwa is published, anyone can come to kill me or my kids, or even my family in Egypt.
If any Canadian is being threatened as a result of that, of course it's the obligation of our government to make sure that they receive protection.
Now, Fauzi had a meeting with Toronto Police and made his case for protection. Under criticism that the federal government isn't doing enough to clear things up with the Egyptians, a spokesman for Foreign Affairs Minister John Baird told me that's not the case. He says they are working quietly behind the scenes with diplomacy and that rhetoric doesn't always help the case. Meantime, those protests about the movie continue. I'll have more on this on Global National at 6:30. Carolyn, back to you.
All right, we'll see you then. Thank you, Sean.